The Cleveland Browns have made a habit of turning hope into heartbreak, and their latest collapse was a masterpiece of misery. From the missed extra point to the deflected interception that sealed their fate, this game was a case study in how a franchise can consistently find new ways to lose. It wasn't just defeat. It was Cleveland's calling card, taking victory, cradling it in their hands, and then fumbling it away in front of millions. The moment was surreal. A fan tossed a novelty item onto the field, a symbol of dysfunction that couldn't have been scripted better. The timing was perfect, because no team in the NFL manages to sabotage itself like the Browns. Year after year, with all the talent in the world and all the preseason optimism anyone could ask for, they crumble in the strangest, most agonizing ways imaginable. This time, the villain wasn't just an opponent, it was their own execution, or lack thereof. The Browns had the game in their hands. They had the comeback, the energy, the momentum. Yet within minutes, it slipped away. An extra point went wide. A game-winning field goal missed so badly it felt like a punchline. A perfectly placed pass bounced off a receiver's hands and directly into the arms of the defense. Each mistake added another scar to the collective memory of a fan base that has been tortured more than enough already. But amid the wreckage, something unexpected happened. A rookie who hasn't even been named the starter, Shedeur, became the story. He didn't throw a game-winning touchdown or deliver a miracle play. Instead, he did something smaller, but maybe even more important. He walked up to Andre Smith, the rookie kicker who had just missed the biggest kicks of his young career, dapped him up and told him calmly, "You're going to be good." Those 5 words traveled further than any highlight. They echoed across the locker room, across social media, across the league. In a storm of boos, anger, and despair, Sanders brought calm. That, more than anything, might have revealed the truth about what's missing in Cleveland: leadership. Because let's be honest, this wasn't just a game. This was the Browns again. They are a team with everything on paper: an elite pass, rusher in Myles Garrett, a rebuilt roster, and veterans like Joe Flacco stepping up with surprising poise. Yet when the spotlight is brightest, when the pressure is suffocating, they fall apart. Not just losing, but losing in the kind of bizarre, gut-wrenching ways that define entire decades of fandom. Missed extra points that haunt you all night. Interceptions off a teammate's hands. Field goals that barely stay in the same zip code. It's as if the football gods have written a cruel script for Cleveland. You will get close, but you will not succeed. Joe Flacco, to his credit, looked sharper than anyone could have expected. At 38 years old and signed off the street, he moved. The offense made veteran reads and gave the Browns a chance to win. For much of the night, it felt like he might deliver one of those rare moments that Browns fans cling to for years. But in true Cleveland fashion, his final big throw bounced the wrong way, deflected into a turnover that ended the dream. It wasn't even his worst throw, it was just bad luck, the kind of luck that always seems to find this team. Kevin Stefanski's press conference afterward was predictable. He praised the effort, pointed out the flashes of good, and talked about cleaning things up. But if you listened closely, there was no conviction behind it. It felt rehearsed, like a man who has lived through the same nightmare too many times. That's the issue with the Browns. They've cycled through quarterbacks, coaches, and general managers, but the outcome never changes. Maybe it's not just bad luck. Maybe it's cultural. Maybe it's the absence of true, undeniable leadership. When the game is on the line, the kicker's story drove the point home. Andre Smith, 24 years old, wasn't supposed to be just another rookie. He was supposed to be the stable answer at a position that has haunted Cleveland for years. Instead, his debut turned into a nightmare, missing 2 kicks that could have sealed the game. He left the field carrying the weight of a franchise on his back. On social media, the backlash was brutal. Fans demanded he be cut, mocked, and forgotten. Yet in the locker room, the message was different. Myles Garrett defended him. Sanders gave him reassurance. The veterans showed empathy. That contrast said everything about the Browns' paradox. Outside noise screams collapse, but inside the locker room, there are glimpses of resilience, and that's where Sanders comes in. He might not be the starting quarterback this season, But his calm in the storm is exactly what the Browns need. Leadership isn't always about highlight plays or stat lines. Sometimes it's about being the one person who keeps the locker room together when the walls start closing in. Sanders' gesture wasn't just a kind word, it was a signal. He sees the bigger picture. He knows the importance of belief in moments, when failure is easiest to embrace. The Browns' problem isn't talent. It's never been talent. It's accountability, discipline, and mental toughness. They play close games, they flash brilliance, and then when the game hangs in the balance, they unravel. That doesn't come from bad luck. That comes from culture. Until the Browns confront that head-on, from Kevin Stefanski to Andrew Berry, to every player who has ever shrugged and said, "That's just Cleveland," the cycle will repeat, and fans know it. That's why the heartbreak cuts so deep. It's not the loss itself. It's the fact that it feels inevitable. No matter how well the defense plays, no matter how sharp a veteran quarterback looks, no matter how much young talent they stack on the roster, they find a way to collapse. And until they change the foundation, until leadership becomes the identity of this team, it will always be the same story. For now, Browns fans are left clinging to moments like Sanders walking to a crushed kicker and saying, "You're going to be good." That was more than encouragement. That was leadership Cleveland has been begging for. If the Browns are smart, they won't bury Sanders behind veterans just because of his age or draft status. They'll recognize that some players bring more than stats. They bring belief. They bring change. Because this isn't just about losing one game. It's about breaking a curse that has defined an entire franchise. It's about building a culture that doesn't fall apart when the lights get bright. Sanders showed in a single moment what that culture could look like. The Browns have to decide if they're ready to follow it. So now the question lingers. Are the Browns doomed to keep repeating this cycle of heartbreak, or is there finally a way out? Is it just bad luck, or is it a failure of leadership and discipline? Should Stefanski and Berry take a hard look at themselves, or is this simply what happens when a franchise never learns from its past? And most importantly, should players like Shedeur Sanders, who show the calm and leadership that this team desperately needs, be given the keys sooner rather than later? For now, the Browns remain what they've always been: talented, promising, and perpetually tragic. But maybe, just maybe, one rookie's quiet words in the middle of the storm could be the first spark of real change.